For almost 3/4 of a century, summer in New Zealand has been the focus of the motorsport world, where the biggest names on the planet came to stay sharp, test their skill levels against local up-and-comers, and escape the harsh Northern Hemisphere winters. In the 50s, Sterling Moss and Jack Brabham headlined. In the 60s came Graham Hill and Jackie Stewart, who faced the best that this country had to offer in Bruce McLaren and Chris Amon. Then it's been a who's who. Keke Rosberg, Roberto Moreno, Craig Baird, Greg Murphy, Shane Van Gisbergen and Nick Cassidy, to name but a few. Most recently, this series has been the final stepping stone into Formula One. So, who's next? Which of these stars of tomorrow will launch themselves into the motorsport stratosphere? Can any of them match the stars of today, like the local hope who swapped the supercar for the open-wheeler? Or the two-time World Rally champion who'll try and tame the tarmac rather than the dirt roads? Hampton Downs once again plays host to the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship as we fill your screens with a magnificent medley of motorsports. This is the Allied Petroleum Hampton Downs International, live and local.
We are in the mighty Waikato, about an hour south of Auckland, 60 k's from Hamilton's now international grade airport. This region has so much to offer, from world-class adventure, nature, culture, cuisine, wellness, which my colleagues are right into, and a must-see venue that isn't just for car and bike enthusiasts. Kia ora, everybody. Greg Rust, Rihanna Crean and Andrew Waite with you for the final day of the Allied Petroleum Hampton Downs International, live and local, as Richard Craill said at the top there, on Sky Sport New Zealand, Fox and KO across the ditch in Australia. We're also welcoming viewers on YouTube. Forecast is for highs of 30 degrees this afternoon, winds up to 17 k's an hour. We have got it all coming our viewers' way this afternoon, and we're going to be joined by a Kiwi F1 star. Yeah,
afternoon, Rusty. Afternoon, everybody. And we are feeling the heat on our backs as we stand here at the back of the paddock. How exciting that we have current Formula One star Liam Lawson on his way, in fact, to the track right now. So he will be doing a signing session right here at the track, and then will be joining us on the grid for that race for later this afternoon. Former winner of this series, hugely, hugely loved in this paddock, and I have no doubt the queue to meet Liam and say hello will be very, very long.
Little wonder that we've got a great crowd here. The vibe, the energy is unbelievable, Andrew. It's the second round of the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship, obviously. We're about to bring you very shortly Bridgestone GR86, their second race of the weekend. And coming up, the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. It is their third race, and we have something a little unique this year for the third race of the weekend and how they establish the grid.
Yeah, it's been a great way that it's sort of come about, and it's certainly created, let's say, another cat amongst the pigeons. So the fastest laps between the first two races determine the grid for race 3. But what has been added into it is the drivers that haven't had such a good race in that second race, what they've done is they've come into pit lane and put fresh tyres on to give themselves the best possible effort to be in the highest grid position for race number 3. So that's the combined times over those two. So that puts Ernesto Rivera on pole position for this race, which is a very, very cool thing. So it really shakes things up a bit, because, you know, the guys at the front of the field, they're not coming in for new tyres. They want the points for every single race. So they are still within the mix, and as they say, the cream will still rise to the top. But Ernesto Rivera, he's certainly found something today as well. He's a lot quicker than he was yesterday. He qualified a lot faster as well. So it's going to be great to watch. You
know what? I'm really pleased we left that to you to explain that. Well done, mate. Great start to the day. Huge afternoon of coverage coming your way. We kick it all off with Bridgestone GR86. Won't be too long before the cars, you can see them on the left of screen there, are released from the paddock area and onto the track. Why don't we, in between time, get to know one of its rising stars?
I'm AJ Giddy, I'm 14 and I'm from Auckland. I got into motorsport because of my uncle. He started racing and he wanted to get me into it, so we gave it a go and I really enjoyed it. So we started about 2 years ago and haven't stopped since. My biggest supporter has been my mum and my dad. They're always bringing me to the track and wanting me to do well and supporting me. My biggest success is getting P2 in the last round of the GR86 Championship. My ambition is to always do well and try my hardest to get the best results I can. My idol in motorsport is Max Verstappen because he's the best driver and he's always committed and fastest. My favourite track is Taupo because I always end up getting the good results there and it's a really cool track. It's very competitive racing in the series, a lot of fast drivers and it's hard to get the results you want.
These awesome Colt cars that you're seeing so much more of on New Zealand and Australian roads for that matter, heading out. This is the latest generation or Spec 2, 2.4 litre dual overhead cam, boxer engine, 220 horsepower. And here at Hampton Downs, top speeds on the main straight of 199 k's an hour. Greg Ruston, Ronan Murphy with you for the coverage of this one. It's the second race of the weekend, Ronan, and for this one, we do a little something different with the top 50% of the grid, basically, don't we?
Exactly right, Rusty. So we invert the race results from yesterday. So our race one winner, Josh Bethune, he'll start from the 8th position. Second place, Chris White, he'll start from the 7th place position today. And our 8th place finisher from yesterday, Cooper Barnes, he starts off the pole position, which he shares alongside Arthur Braun, who will also start from 2nd position later on this afternoon.
He's got the word of the day already away. Invert. Well done, mate. So Cooper Barnes starts this one as we take a look at the grid for you. They're all on Bridgestone controlled tyres. Arthur Braun, a bright young star who's come through go-karting, made the move up to this class in recent years and keeps getting stronger with every outing. Good job, Harry Townsend, originally from Hawke's Bay, has been at university in recent time, but is back over summer behind the wheel of a race car. And AJ Giddy, who you just met in the coverage, can you believe it? Not even in his mid-teens just yet. Hugo Allen's the reigning champion. On race weekends, he focuses on his own race car, obviously, but he's got so much knowledge as a driver and as a driver coach. He's been helping a young driver who we'll see on the grid here in a moment that's won a couple of scholarships and is a new name to the class. Keep an eye on Chris White. He has pole position for the feature race this afternoon. And as Ronan just detailed, Josh Bethune, awesome job yesterday to take the win.
Absolutely right, Rusty. As we see the rest of the field there, Cameron Hill, Cormac Murphy, Thomas Mallard, welcome back to the category for him. And the field rounded out by our Tony Quinn Foundation winner, Lucas McGill.
Now, I know you won't do it because you're a pro and you don't want to seem to be favouring your brother, but I want to send a little shout out to your brother and Cormac Murphy too. He's probably been a little flat, shall we say, in the last 24 hours. Car hasn't quite been where he wants it to be right now, so he's on the back foot a little. But he's a good young operator, Cormac Murphy, so we wish him well in this one. Now, we've had a bit of a clean-up, as you can see, around Hampton Downs in the wake of some of the support races before we came on air. The great team here of officials that we have all the way around the circuit work tirelessly from morning till 4:45 when our coverage wraps up this afternoon, just to ensure that we can bring that back-to-back racing here on the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship to you all afternoon.
And look at that sky, Rusty. It's just a beautiful day here in the North Waikato. As we see there, Chris White, our 2nd place finisher from yesterday, he'll be lining up there on that 7th position on the grid. Field making their way up. There was quite a big, and you can see all the sand that's been put down to cover up that oil. There's a big oil trail left in that last race, the GDRNZ 1 and 2 class. So that's going to be another challenge or a factor for the guys to navigate as they get set on the grid, ready to go for this second race this morning.
If we're continuing, you and I, to not be well behaved, we'll be on the brooms later this afternoon, won't we? So Cooper Barnes with a really good opportunity here. This class, we're only in the second round as some of the engineers make their way from the pit wall back in safely into the lane. We had an exciting first round here at Hampton Downs. Great stuff. Nice launch. And Barnes has absolutely bolted here with a couple of car links as they go into one from the this time, 6 drone cams showing you the advantage, the clear advantage that he's got a little bit of panel rubbing going on there in 4th place.
And Arthur Braun almost looked asleep at the start there. He's lost about 2 or 3 positions to his teammates, AJ Giddy and Harry Townsend. Townsend's done a great job to move up there in the Bayswater car into 3rd as we fire down in towards turn 2. And Townsend's been turned around.
There was the lightest of contact, but it continued on, and it was just enough, I think, to unsettle that car, wasn't it?
Not great there, not great there. A little bit of barge and biff there, and really disappointing there for Harry Townsend. He was moved up into 3rd place there going into turn 2, but we go back to the rest of the action there. It looked like another car, I think it might have been Cormac Murphy, was off the road there.
Look at the damage.
And that's probably, that right there is probably the sign of what happened down there at turn 2.
So, Motorsport New Zealand Race Control right beside Ronan and I where the commentary box is here, so no doubt they'll be taking a good close look at that. They have at their access here all sorts of CCTV vision around the circuit. They can look at these incidents in even more detail than perhaps what we're showing you here on the coverage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Arthur Braun's become a bit of a bottleneck for the rest of the field there. There's quite a bit of damage on the front of that car. Hopefully it's just cosmetic and he can continue on. He's got Lee Zelltwanger and Mac Templeton right there in the mirrors in between there, and the rest of the field there, Justin Allen's going side by side with Thomas Mallard down towards the final corner. So they're going to argue that all the way down towards the apex. Josh Bethune's lost a lot of time as well. Our race winner from yesterday, he's right down there only just ahead of Lucas McGill.
13th, Ronan. 13th place, can you believe it? So little bit of a dust storm as they come through that area that we've cleaned up. They continue to power on through. So Barnes leading the way. What about AJ Giddy, who you heard from in our pre-race build-up there? 2nd position at the moment, and ever, we can't call him the dark horse, but all of that experience as the champion coming to the fore. Hugo Allen is up into 3rd.
He's moved up into 3rd, and look at AJ Giddy there. He's chasing Cooper Barnes. Chris White, he's looking to try and go down the inside. He's thought the better of it there down the inside of Hugo Allen. Zach Blinko's there on the outside of the number 90 car. He's having a great run, and he's just driven around the outside of Chris White. So White left the door open on the exit of turn 2 there, and it's allowed Blinko to go through, our championship leader.
You know what? That's the look at the flash of flame from the 86 there. There's a bit of contact between them. This is great racing here.
And I think Blinko's missed a gears. He balked it right in the middle there of turn 4, and it's given Chris White the inside going into the double B corner.
Works for him. Pack and save entry comes through.
Simon Hunter's looking to try and get his nose in there in the Az's where his car. Simon Hunter, incredibly experienced driver, one of the more older drivers in the field, but he's no slower than any of these young guys. He's just as quick.
He's energised, Hunter, isn't he? Great to have him as a part of this round of the championship at Hampton Downs. Napa entry in the thick of battle there at the moment too. That's Justin Allen in the 99. Here comes Blinko on the recovery. Ronan's detailed what he believes may have gone wrong there. The key to Blinko's opening weekend here at Hampton Downs, and I think he's replicated that form so far this weekend, is consistency. He knows in order to win this championship from this round here, they'll then rejoin us on the tour at Invercargill, of course, in Cromwell. We've got a couple of rounds to go before it all concludes for them at the Supercars round in Topor. But on balance, there's not a huge amount of rounds. You've got to be consistent, Ronan, don't you?
And this is what these reverse top 8 races do. The beauty of it is all the action that it causes. We look at a replay of the start. So again, Braun just got a terrible start off the jump there. Cooper Barnes and AJ Giddy just sailed on through. Harry Townsend went down the inside of him as well. And look, you can see there, Zach Blinko, he loves a move around the outside there. Gone straight around the outside of Braun. As we see here, yeah, Braun turned Townsend by the looks of it. Unfortunately, it just has not ended that well. Maybe did he get a helping hand from Hugo Allen? There was a bit of biff and barge. It's going to be interesting to see how Toyota look at that. Let's go down to Reed down in the pits.
And we've also got Cameron Hill just into the pit lane, damage to the left front of his car. They've just changed a tyre, and hopefully that is all that is wrong with that car. Heading out now.
Northland Toyota entry heading back out. But that's a blow for Hill, isn't it?
And he won a race last season here at this track, so he's not having the best of weekends there as Cameron Hill. So we go back to the front. Cooper Barnes there in the 186 car leading. AJ Giddy there in 2nd place. He's keeping him honest. Hugo Allen's having a bit of a lonely race now. He's got a big gap in front of him and behind him. Chris White's leading this pack of angry cars then behind. He's got Zach Blinko. Simon Hunter's having a great run there in 6th place, and his team and Chris White's teammate Mac Templeton there in 7th place in the New World St. Martin's car.
Just to update you as well, been chatting with Amanda Tolamash, category manager. Ronan alluded to it there a moment ago, just about the Drivers' Championship standings with Blinko on top. After yesterday's race, coming into Sunday, he's on top with 293 championship points. From yesterday's race winner, Josh Bethune on 274. Then it's Chris White, 269. Hugo Allen, the reigning champion, on 268. Just 1 point further back in 4th.
Yeah, and of all our championship protagonists, Hugo Allen's in the best position right now. He's got Barnes and Giddy doing a great job out front, but they're not really in the championship fight at this stage of the season. So Hugo Allen's doing a great job there. He's in 3rd place. He's got one of his main rivals there, Chris White, there in 4th place, right behind him. Zach Blenko there as well. He's another protagonist there in 5th. So even though these championship contenders, there's all this chaos going on, they all seem to find each other on the racetrack and be line astern in terms of the positions.
Be honest, are you Googling commentary words? Protagonist, I love it. Another one from Ronan Murphy on Sunday here at Hampton Downs. We're not quite at half race distance. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're tuning in right around the world. Bridgestone GR86. This class, the variety of drivers, and I want to say too, Ronan, maybe a little of the temperature, the temper, if you will, from some of the drivers that we've seen in recent years has maybe come out of it a little bit. We're seeing some smarts in this class in the 25-26 season, aren't we?
Yeah, we saw a lot of action, and not necessarily the kind of action the drivers want to have or see last season. But this season, yeah, maybe that tempo or that velocity has dialed down a little bit, and it's providing still great racing. As we see there, Thomas Mallard with a great move. He squared it off the corner there at the apex and passed Arthur Braun, but he looked like he was running the brakes a little bit going up the straight there. Harry Townsend, he's making the best of a bad situation. He goes down the inside of Braun, who was involved in actually the incident that led to him being turned around. So Harry Townsend in the Bayswater car is now down the inside, going into the last corner there. Lucas McGill, the Tony Quinn Foundation and Wolfbrook Scholarship winner, he's now trying to go around the inside of Arthur Braun as well. So maybe some issues with Braun's car. Cormac Murphy, unfortunately, he's a little bit further back after running off the road there at turn 2 on that opening lap. Saw Lucas McGill in deep conversation with your dad yesterday. He's got some great people around him giving him some advice now that he's got those scholarship wins and he's made the step up from karting. And as I said before when we were going through the grid, Hugo Allen has to focus on his own race program, obviously on weekends like this, but in between events, he's been very helpful with advice to young Lucas McGill. Yeah, absolutely. And Lucas McGill, he's very green to car racing. He's a top-level New Zealand karter, as we see there. Matt Templeton going down the inside of Simon Hunter. He's going to escort Hunter wide, but Hunter's going to try and stay inside there for turn 3. Templeton's going to go try and drive around the outside there. So these are two Christchurch-based drivers, and Templeton and Hunter. And the New World St. Martin's car makes it through on the Az's, where his car there as we go around turn 4, the big long loop. Great racing between the two of them. They're as close as you can get without making contact. Templeton in the New World car, a youngster who's come through Mazda Racing. Look down the inside, all that experience from Hunter coming back to the 4. He fires it down the inside there. That means Templeton's a little bit wide on the exit. And he's got to look in the rear-view mirror here too, because there's a couple closing. And Simon Hunter actually did his teammate Josh Bethune a bit of a favour there. The right cuts by M2 competition cars looking after each other out there. Templeton now running the defensive down there at the hairpin, at the dipper. So we go back onto the back straight. Hunter's now pulled out a gap there on Templeton, but Josh Bethune is he's going to be a big problem now for Mac Templeton coming down towards the last corner. Mac felt pretty positive on Friday that he'd learnt a lot from the opening round of the season here back in October, early November, and he'd taken that, along with some miles, I guess, in between time, applied it and taken some steps forward. But it is a very competitive championship, as Ronan said before. Just to get back to what's happening up in front, Cooper Barnes with a lead of half a second now on AJ Giddy. Hugo Allen is 3rd, Chris White 4th, and Zach Blinko, the ever-consistent Zach Blinko, holding down 5th. Absolutely, and what a great shot going up the back straight, that big long back straight here on the Hampton Downs International layout. And AJ Giddy's having to go down the inside of Cooper Barnes. He thought about it, but thought the better of it and pulled out of that one. But he's right there, heaps of pace on the number 10 Opie contracting car. He's all over the back of Cooper Barnes. Cooper Barnes, he's not unfamiliar to winning races in this category, so he knows what he has to do to get the job done. But AJ Giddy, he wants that race win bad. Hugo Allen's lurking in the background there, and never right off the #1 car, the Mad Butcher, run by IMAC Race Engineering there, coming up through the double B corner. He's starting to make inroads on these top two, so if these two, Cooper Barnes and AJ Giddy, keep arguing it out, you could see that #1 car, the reigning champion of Hugo Allen, start to find his way into the fold.
Those beautiful pics coming through from the drone before, courtesy of our colleague Joe, who hails from Dunedin on the South Island these days, was originally from the North Island, but he loves his motor racing and has been filming it for many years now. So continue to watch. There you go, on cue. 6th drone cam.
Coming down the back straight, AJ Giddy is not letting Cooper Barnes get away with this. He's hustling that #10 car, doing everything he can to try and stay in the fight. And there's Joe.
He is.
Loving life.
We'll be copping it a little bit later.
As we come up the front straight here, Barnes still leading from AJ Giddy. The gap is 2nd to nothing, almost less than 3/10 of a second. So Giddy right late on the brakes there. He's got slightly different line going through turn 1, and that's the interesting things with these cars here is Barnes didn't get the greatest run off the exit there, and Giddy's going to get the toe. He's going to run him right to the inside of the road here. Hugo Allen's there in the background. He's trying to get a bit of a toe. He's now moving out. He's no point. He's not close enough to make a move. Giddy's going to try and go around the outside here. Watch these next few corners because it's going to unfold.
Waiting and watching Hugo Allen, and just as this tussle continues, look at he's making ground here. The Mad Butcher entry, it's less than a second now. As they came through turn 1 last time, it was over a second, only just. So he's making just little tenths, little increments, and he is closing on this pair. What's AJ Giddy got to do here? He's got a handful of laps left. He's had a good chance to see where Cooper Barnes may be vulnerable. How does he play things here?
AJ's going to have to, he's going to have to stay calm and patient, and he's going to have to make a move very soon because Hugo Allen is now caught up the back, and Hugo Allen is not going to wait around. We know how good he is and how calculated his racecraft is. He's now made it to the back of Giddy, so Giddy's going to have to try and make a decision here of what he's going to do. He's now running defensive, trying to keep Hugo Allen out of it. Allen's going to try and run around the outside, but he's going to duck and dive, get a better run off the corner. Giddy's run a little bit wide, so he might be driving in his mirrors a little bit now, AJ Giddy, because he's actually giving Cooper Barnes a bit of reprieve.
They run almost side by side, up to 165 k's an hour, down to the final corner. He goes deep. He's on the outside. The pair of them almost interlocked as they come through there, and then they start to work up through the gearbox. They'll get up to 199 k's an hour. Look at them.
Hugo Allen's actually done a brilliant job to get the run. He didn't quite have enough overlap to stay in there. Giddy's now, his focus is fully on the #1 car, and that's allowing the 186 of Cooper Barnes to drive away. They're going to argue it down towards the apex of turn 1 there. Very late apex here at Hampton Downs. As we come onto the back straight, Allen got a brilliant run. That IMAC Race Engineering car, the Mad Butcher car, has just come alive in the last 2 laps.
Is it possible? I think the drivers often talk about it, the draft. How beneficial is it in these cars? How much does it help, given how close the competition is?
Yeah, the draft definitely makes a difference, especially the closer you get, the more of an air gap the car preceding makes. So AJ Giddy's definitely doing all the work down the straight for Hugo Allen. It's giving him the chance to catch right back up, but it's another whole nother game when you get to the corner, because if AJ decides to run a little bit defensive, he's going to make that #10 car as wide as possible, make the job for Hugo Allen incredibly difficult.
Historian, aerodynamicist, commentator, that is Ronan Murphy on the bike here with us at the moment. And it has, as he's talked about, just giving Cooper Barnes a tiny bit of breathing space, because Giddy's got to try and figure out where he can place the car to keep that energised Hugo Allen at bay. Now, Chris White back and forth. You can see the battle scars on that car and how much it's hurting. Here's the right carts by M2 entry, the 32 that took victory yesterday. Now, you talked about Josh Bethune dropping a few spots there before. He's recovered a bit to where he started at least this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Simon Hunter's managed to escape this little battle pack that's going on, a little angry swarm of bees in the form of Mac Timberton and Josh Bethune. But we go back to the front there. AJ Giddy is under immense pressure from Hugo Allen. Beautiful shot from the 6th drone cam to go up the front straight, put the power down on these little Bridgestone GR86s. Barnes still hasn't really escaped them as much as what I thought he might have, and AJ Giddy is still looking in his mirrors up the inside there. Hugo Allen's now he's You see him tap the brake there. He's just trying to get the car gathered up before making the big initial brake pedal hit, going down towards turn 1 as we go through turn 1. He's now got to run again, but it's not going to quite be enough. He's maybe going to have to go back to the outside of the circuit. The number 1 car attacking the number 10. Going down towards the braking zone as he's now going to dart to the inside. Is that going to be enough? AJ Giddy's going to give him the room. He's into the grass a little bit. That was close, but if you want to race anyone and know the dimensions of these cars and exactly where you can put them and where you can't, Hugo Allen's one of those guys.
The gap in the meantime got out to 0.8. It's back to 0.7 between Cooper Barnes and AJ Giddy there. So it is just helping Barnes a little bit in the final phase of this race. Justin Allen holds down 10th spot. Harry Townsend, who started this race in a really good position as well, is back in 11th. Thomas Mallard is 12th.
Clearly an issue of some sort for Arthur Braun. Cormac Murphy's now just gone past him, so obviously an issue. He had a bit of a shaky start, and it all culminated at turn 2 on that opening lap to what it did.
Points though, Ronan, that you can't afford to lose. He'll be gutted with that. There's some great operators in that team though, so let's see what he can do for the feature a little later this afternoon. Back to Mac Templeton, the youngster with his hands full in 7th place. Josh Bethune, Lee Zeltwanger, who's made the step up between classes. There is a progressive system available in 86 racing in this country now, the trophy class, and it's great that we can showcase that and give someone like Lee the chance to step up. But there has, as he's been talking about, there are some differences between the models and the way they behave and what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a whole new car, this Bridgestone GR86, and first things first, obviously you've got the bigger engine displacement in these cars, so the way it delivers its power and how it drives off the corner is quite a bit different. But then you've got obviously the brakes and everything else, the way the car handles, the balance, the car balance, all completely different to the old cars. So a lot of learning and adjusting for these young guys. But as we know, there's some of the brightest young talents coming in New Zealand motorsport, filtering through this category. So if anyone's going to be able to figure out how to extract the maximum out of this car, it's this field.
So is this Cooper Barnes in control after a lightning start, a superbly executed race so far? Giddy's been a little bit busy trying to fend off Hugo Allen, but he's now found a little something. But it's 0.6 away from our race leader, Double B. Can he make a bit of ground here and try and, I guess, Ronan, line yourself up to be in the chance, in the draft out of that final corner? That's ideally what he's looking for here.
Absolutely, that's the goal, and he's probably a little bit too far back for AJ Giddy and Hugo Allen. They've probably not quite got enough of or too much of a buffer back from Cooper Barnes to be able to try and make a move into the last corner. But we're just talking about New Zealand talent. It's actually a young Aussie talent that's leading the race. So Cooper Barnes, he's going to, well, at this stage with 1 corner to go, he's going to look to try and get one up over the Kiwis.
And I like how both series, the 86 series in Australia and the GR86 Championship brought to you by Bridgestone here in New Zealand, do that. We get some Aussies that come and play here over summer. They like it. Nice way to kind of keep match fit. This is all good for Cooper Barnes out of the final turn, up to almost 200 k's an hour. He is about to greet the checkered flag, takes out race 2 of GR86 from young AJ Giddy. And well done to Hugo Allen, home in 3rd. Battle-scarred Chris White in 4th, and Zach Blinko, more good points in the championship race, in 5th place.
And Josh Bethune didn't quite manage to eclipse Mac Templeton there at the line. Very close race between those guys. Cormac Murphy managed to get past our young Tony Quinn Foundation Scholarship winner Lucas McGill just there at the finish, so he managed to recover from that off at the start. But Cooper Barnes, the 186 Designer Living car run by Right Carts by M2 Competition, he was untouchable in this race 2 this morning.
That squad having a good weekend here at Hampton Downs. We've got some class outfits, some great teams in this sport. So here's the results for you. Cooper Barnes takes it out from AJ Giddy and Hugo Allen. They're your top 3. We will take you to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane very shortly. Chris White, another. If we're going to use the line about consistency with Blinko, ditto Chris White. So A car that was sporting rather some damage, but he still brought it home in a very solid 4th place. Little positives for Matt Templeton. He'll want to take another step, I reckon, as we continue on in this championship. Thomas Mallard, welcome back to the class, just outside the top 10, finishing ahead of Cormac Murphy, Lucas McGill, Arthur Braun, and Cameron Hill with that problem that Reed detailed earlier. Highlights for you, Bridgestone GR86. Second race of the weekend here at Hampton Downs with the grid inverted. It was Cooper Barnes that made a fantastic start, launched away. There were some dramas, unfortunately, for Arthur Braun, and it meant that there was a compression of things with him further down the order than was ideal. Yesterday's winner, Josh Bethune, meant he had to take some evasive action there as well. Chris White, hello, it's me. Will you move out of the way?
Bit of Morse code there from the 88 to the back of the 90. Lane spinning out. What a great shot that was of Blinko's car. We see there Simon Hunter. Never write Simon Hunter off. You give him a gap, he's going to take it. Up the inside of Mac Templeton there, the 2 Christchurch-based racers. As we see there, Hugo Allen, AJ Giddy going side by side up the hill, down towards the dipper. Allen actually managed to get his nose ahead there, but wasn't enough to stay ahead of AJ Giddy, and they come up the front straight. Up through the sand there. Look at the big trail coming behind the number 1 car. Allen thought about it again. Down the inside there, Hugo in the number 1. The Mad Butcher car, but not quite enough just to get past. He was trying to be crafty, just couldn't quite pull it off, and he came home with a 3rd place.
Absolutely maxed out, but it was a race of perfection for Cooper Barnes. We're about to take you to Victory Lane, and we'll hear from the drivers very shortly. We understand that Louise Upston, the Minister for Tourism and Hospitality, is there, just underscoring the growth of this championship, and we're delighted that Louise will join us to present some special trophies for our 86 winners. Very, very cool. It is a warm day here at Hampton Downs. If you're just joining our coverage, wherever you are around the world, good morning, good evening, whatever it may be, massive afternoon of racing, and it will keep coming your way here at Hampton Downs. Nice to kick it off with the 86 series, the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy, their 3rd of 4 races here this weekend, coming up very shortly. We have all sorts on offer, Porsches and a whole lot more. Rihanna, who's been a great addition to our team, gives him the congratulations. Let's take you there now.
Big celebrations down here in the Allied Petroleum Victory Lane. Congratulations, Cooper Barnes. I heard a Go Australia from the crowd. Well done. You got the start. Tell me how important that was.
Yeah, definitely. Got the good start. Obviously, I'm pretty good at them. So got the lead and then just try to hold it off. AJ was really fast, so good job to him.
Talk to me about the pressure that AJ was applying in that mid part of the race.
Yeah, it was heaps. I was starting to sweat up a bit, but I held on.
Well done. Enjoy the celebrations on the podium. And coming in 2nd place for the 2nd race of the weekend, AJ Giddy from Mackenzie Motorsport. Congratulations, AJ. You were putting the pressure on Cooper. You had the pressure behind you from Hugo Allen. Talk to me about how you were dealing with that.
Yeah, I was trying to put on a bit of pressure. The car was real pacey thanks to the boys at Mackenzie Motorsport. I was real hooked up at the start, but then started faded away at the end, and Hugo got real close to me, so that started putting on the pressure, and Cooper managed to drive away with a great win.
How are you finding this 2nd time being part of this championship?
I definitely learnt a lot more, and I'm just glad to be up the front a bit more now.
Well done. Congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations on the podium. And rounding out 3rd place on the podium, Hugo Allen, IMAC Engineering. Congratulations, Hugo. You were putting the pressure on that young man, but couldn't quite get the job done. Well done.
Yeah, he's above his age, really, that AJ, but no, he did a good job. Maybe could have let him push on to Cooper a little bit. I think he might have jumped the start, I'm not sure, but no, it's a good fun race. Been having a little bit of a tricky weekend so far, so just got to get back into the groove where we were into last season, and then we'll be on.
I know earlier in the weekend you were sort of struggling with the pace. What do you find? What do you think clicked for you in this 2nd race?
Well, to be fair, I was lucky to get through the incident at the start, come away with a couple of spots off the start, and then, yeah, we just got my head down and tried to push on towards the couple of boys in front, and the pace is good. The boys have set the car up beautifully as always, so we'll just keep pushing forward, see if we can make a few spots up from the 3rd row in the 3rd race.
Congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations. We look forward to seeing you for race 3 this afternoon.
And it's time to celebrate the podium for race 2 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship here at Hampton Downs. Please make very welcome the Minister for Tourism and Hospitality, Louise Upston, to present the trophies. And we start in 3rd place from IMAC Engineering, Hugo Allen. In second place from Mackenzie Motorsport, it's AJ Giddy. And ladies and gentlemen, your race 2 winner for Right Karts by M2. Please congratulate Cooper Barnes. Our thanks to Louise for presenting the trophies. Please congratulate our winners in race 2 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship here at Hampton Downs.
For all sorts of reasons, Hampton Downs is a great place for motor racing tragics. But you can also come here any day of the week now and make your very own Happy Gilmore or Caddyshack. Which are you?
Look, Rusty, I would say that my mini golf is probably as good as my car racing, which is why